Magdalene. Hey, Dad, how are you feeling? Can I get you anything? No, I'm fine. You go on. Alright, I'll come back and check on you later. Alright, hey everybody, welcome back to Pentiment. And, not really sure what I was doing. Chill's grandfather. Oh yeah, I was going to talk to the people in Tassing to talk about history. Because we're supposed to be finishing the, mural. Hey, Mags. Got your way with the mural, huh? I didn't expect you to convince the council like that. Didn't expect the town to pick a half-wit like you for the council, so I guess we're all disappointed. Jesus, Mags, I meant it as a compliment. The rest of the council has been arguing over the matter for so long I couldn't even get a word in. Then you come in and shut them up in a few minutes. We could use more women like you in the town. There are plenty of opinionated women in the town. Want to let us join the council? Heh, well, you'd have to take that up with the Lord. Besides, I don't think any of them are as hard-headed as you. You're the exception, Magdalene. You always are. You really think so? Well, yeah, I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. You're an admirable woman. Anyway, standing up to the council like that was great. I know I'm on the council, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I have any influence. Watts actually seems insecure about his place on the council. He seems like an ass. He may be an ass sometimes, but I don't like to see him so upset. Maybe I should reassure him. You do, though. You vouched for me to do the mural in the first place. Only after your dad did. I still feel bad about that. I should have stuck up for you. Being the youngest one on the council has been harder than I thought. I knew Baltus and Werner don't think I'm capable, and even Paul has warned me about being too rash. My dad died trying to make a difference in this town. All I'm trying to do is carry on his legacy. It seems like the others won't make room for any change. Keep pushing, Otts. They're stuck in the past, but we're looking toward the future of Tassing. Thanks, Mags. Magdalene. It'll take time, but maybe they'll listen to me eventually. Ah, well, better get back to it. See you later, Mags. Kreutzner House? And the farm, the mine. Charcoal burner. Seems like I missed it. How could I have missed it? Must be right there. Yep. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Till. Do you have a moment? Of course. What do you need? Ott says you've been obsessed with your painting. Otts is just jealous that I spend more time with the mural than I do with him. He's fond of you. Can't blame the boy. Anyway, what was it you wanted to know? I'm looking into the early history of Tassing for the first part of the mural. Mother Illuminata said your grandfather read about the history of the town. Ah. Fertile fields, that is. Seemed like old potsherds and Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. Old Granddad's meetings came from the Abbey's library, though. You know what happened there. Poof, up in smoke. So you don't have any of his old books? Only a few. Granddad tried to buy some when the Abbey fell on hard times, but they were too expensive. But I can show you something better than books. Evidence? Something like that. See, we don't have any books of the old pagans, but we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots of animals, bricks from what looks like an old forge, mountains of salt. Even found a little bear carved from amber. Where did you find all this stuff? It's not just me. Carl finds things. Fabian, too. Any farmer will tell you the same. It's all out there in the fields, under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping these things? Nowhere. I just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and root clumps. Sure, it's interesting, but we can't do much of anything with the stuff except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't follow. What do you think they were like? Huh, guess I never really thought about it. They seem like regular people. Their remains all look like ours. Tools and weapons are rougher, but not badly made. Little carvings and ceramic critters aren't so different from the things Ava made for arts. Huh, I suppose I expected them to be more strange. Because they weren't Christians? No doubt they were coarse, but they don't especially seem violent. Not like the church says. Not so different from today, really. Earlier you meant something about salt. Did pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it was a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why tassing was so important to the Romans in the first place, the salt. So tassing wasn't just on the imperial road. They made the road come through tassing. Do you think there's anything left of the pagans down there? I don't know. And anything they left would have to be better preserved than what we dig out of the fields. Magdalene, tell me you aren't thinking of going down there. What if there's stuff that could help me with the mural? Magdalene. That mine is hundreds of years old. You could break your neck just getting in there. It's worth it for the mural. It has to be perfect. Imagine how your dad would feel if you got hurt. He doesn't have to know. You won't tell him, right? I'm not lying to your father so you can put yourself in harm's way. Now you're a clever girl, so I doubt you'll find don't doubt you'll find a way if you set your mind to it. But I can't help you, Magdalene. I'd break your father's heart if something happened to you. You can't stop me from going down there. Oh, don't I know it? This pagan history wasn't really what I expected. The past never is. You think all this pagan stuff will make it to the mural? I can bring some of the things the boys and I found over to the Rat House tomorrow if that'll help at all. That would be great. Glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. Thought nobody cared about the pagans but me and Granddad. I should warn you, if you do head into the forest, keep an eye out for the Lord's men. They're strict, worse now than they used to be. I'll be careful, until tomorrow. Until then. Hello, Ava. Magdalene, darling, Otts isn't here, I'm afraid. Oh, that's alright. I can find him later if I need to. I think he wandered off toward the Rat House. Something about the council, but if you ask me, they think he's looking for you. That's sweet of him. He's been dropping by the Rat House more often as of late. He's quite fond of you. I'm surprised he has any time to visit, though. He's always working on town council business these days, and he's still working at mastering carpentry, too. I suggested a few years ago that he take up an apprenticeship, but he was determined to remain in Tassel. I think he's more comfortable here, even if that means he'll never be the craftsman Otto was. I help him now that how I can, but there's only so much I know how to do. Besides, I think he feels like he's taking care of me instead of the other way around. Funny how time does that. I would jump at the chance to leave Tassing if it didn't mean Dad would be left alone. Imagine Oz felt the same. Oh, I wouldn't have been alone. I have Mom and Jorg and the rest of the family to help take care of. Besides, they keep me busy. I'll never want for anything with Otz in the community here in Tassing. I miss my husband, but I'm proud of Otz. He's growing into a capable young man. I'm excited to see him grow into a husband and father. He'll make a wonderful partner. Whoever he marries will be a lucky woman. It's about that time to start finding a match, too. It's wonderful that God blessed Idris with a wife at last, but I'd rather not have Otz be in his position. Better to marry earlier while he can raise a family. Anyway, I'm sure you have things to do. I'll let you get back to them. Always good to see you, Magna. You too, Ava. Hi, Magna. Hello, Christina. What are you doing today? Helping Mom. Otz is right. You're really pretty. Oh, thank you, Christina. You're really pretty, too. Hee hee. Thank you. Don't tell. It's a secret. Oh, I'll keep it a secret. Haha. You're funny, Magna. I mean, he's right outside. Right? Okay. So going to the Gertner farm, the salt mine, and the charcoal burner. Magnaline, how are you keeping? Eager to continue work on the mural. I have so much to do before Christmas. I'm certain it'll be the pride of Tassing when we're through. You've always had your mother's talent for art. And how's your dad? You're one of the only people who've asked him how I'm doing before asking about my dad. I know how it is to be the sole caregiver. Yourself disappears behind the needs of the person you're looking after. I worry about you carrying that weight alone. Caring for someone can be an arduous task, even if you love them. It's alright if you find it challenging. The Lord says your labors for your dad and admires them. But I believe God will pull your dad through, whatever the doctor says. We need him. God willing, you're right, and it is mercy. God willing, amen. Have you thought about what you'll do if your dad doesn't come through this? I'd have to get married. Remember what happened to Attila? That poor woman. But you're a good girl, Magda. There are a number of families of Tassing who'd be happy to take you. You have someone in mind, don't you? I literally can't imagine what you'd be leading to. There's not a single young man of quality in this town. Not even young Otz. He's about as subtle as his father, God rest Otto's soul. Oh, I miss him. Wish I got to meet him, properly, I mean. He made an impression, that's for certain. Oh, the girls around town knew better than to moon after him, although that didn't stop some of us. He was Ava's from the start. As Otz appears to be yours. But if nothing ever comes of that, know that you're always welcome in my family, Magna. Kraft's a nice boy, if a bit immature, but he's still growing. Are you trying to set me up with your son? Can you blame a mother for trying? You're a good, respectable girl, Magda. Any family would be lucky to have it as a daughter. I don't mean to be rude, but I'd prefer to decide in my own time. Alright, I'll let it lie. You know, not every marriage may start off on solid footing. But if you pray and work and trust in the Lord, you can find it in time. Believe me. You're not making the prospects sound very enticing. Marriage is our natural state. It's on our homes that we're closest to the Lord. The Lord made us from Adam's rib because he meant us to be a part of men. You would be lonely to never know that fullness of purpose. That's no life for someone like you. I don't care about my life. I just want to take care of my dad. Finish this damn mural. Of course, you don't need to decide anything now. Hold your dad close for however long you have him. The Lord is patient. In any case, I should get back to the chores. Remember what I said. Whatever happens, you're always welcome in my home. Oh, before I forget, I actually had a question about an old book. Martin was supposed to have stolen it from the Baron who was killed years ago. Do you know what happened to it? Oh. I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble, but I still have it, hidden in a drawer. Martin left it behind when he ran off. He went to all the trouble to take it, but he didn't bring it along? Martin was a thief, but he wasn't stupid. I'm sure he realized no one would believe he'd come by the book honestly, so he couldn't sell it. Why'd you keep it? What was I supposed to do? The Baron was killed soon after, and there I was holding his stolen book. I didn't want Martin to get in any more trouble than he was already in. I never read it, though. I don't read well. Can I have it? I don't know. I'd like to read it to my dad. That's a nice thought. It does seem like the kind of story Klaus would like. Oh, all right. I'd like to have nothing more to do with it, to be frank. It reminds me of difficult times. A stolen book of a dead nobleman in our home. Perhaps it spoiled our milk and turned our eggs all these years. Here you are. Please don't tell anyone. I had this. Oh, Historia Tasse. It's in Latin, which I don't read well. I'll puzzle it over in the evening. Thank you, Brigitte. You've been a big help. Of course, Magda. Be well now. God bless. You too, Brigitte. Until later. Oh, I got the book back. Let's see. You still need to go to the other farm. Guess I can't get there from here. But I'm glad I went and got the book. Hello, Peter. Can I talk to you for a moment? Yeah, what's that? Can I talk to you for a moment? God damn it, don't you shout at me. I'm sorry, Peter. You didn't hear me. Pa, you young people always hollering at me like I'm infirm already. What do you want anyway? I was wondering if you could tell me some stories about Tassing. Oh, the old tales, It's been so damn long since anyone had a thought to ask me about what I know. Well, there's still a few of the old tales knocking about in this old school. Are there any myths from even before the Romans came to Tassing? Of course there are. Romans weren't the first ones to live here, you know. There are spirits older than the saints that live in these woods, older than the Romans. They protected Tassing before St. Mortis ever set a blessed foot in town. I thought spirits only caused trouble, spoiling milk, making livestock sick, things like that. Some do, yes, but who do you think beats the spirits off? Us? What can farmers do against spirits, eh? It's Perchta and her wild hunt that scare them evil ones away. They've protected Tassing since its founding day. Germanic folklore, the wild hunt is a supernatural cavalcade of spirits and fiends which may cause destruction or portend war and other catastrophe if not adequately appeased. The wild hunt is often led by a legendary figure such as Perchta or the devil. Long before those Romans, our ancestors roamed these mountains under a great chieftain called Veratus. Now, folks weren't as kind as they are now, and the tribes fought one another for the best land. The old chieftain was a yellow-bellied coward who neglected the old gods. He was too proud to make offerings. Because of him, the god favored the other tribes, and Rattus people had no land to call their own. Instead, they wandered through these mountains and valleys, hunting and gathering what they could to survive. One day, when winter was approaching, Ratius went hunting and found a wounded wolf hanging in a trap. But instead of killing the beast, as most men would, he helped the beast and loosened him from his bounds. Was the wolf a spirit in disguise? Heh, of course not. Wolves are wolves, girl. Spirits don't need the skins of animals for their power. Still, you've got the sense of the thing. The old gods are keen to repay favors done, and Perchta is the goddess of the wild hunt. The wolves are her animals. She leads the wild hunt, and the wolves lead the hunts of the forest. Back in my day, folk knew it was bad luck to kill a wolf. Now I'm the only one who remembers these things. Perchta saw Ratius' action and took favor on him, and told the wolf to lead the chief to the sacred spring. Ratius led his people to the spring and claimed it for his homeland, and we've been in this valley ever since. Then these goddamn Romans came and destroyed everything. But you see, there were other gods protecting this place before St. Mortis. That's why a few of us still honor Perchta. She protects us against witches and fiends. This is a wonderful story. Perfect for the first part of the mural. Good, good. Nice to know I can still be of some use in this town. What about the Romans? Do you know any Roman legends of Tassing? Roman legends? Ha! I don't bother with stories from outsiders. Or tales of gods that aren't our own. The Romans did nothing but conquer our people and destroy this town. We spent generation after generation building Tassing back up from those days. And still, our traditions keep dying with no one to carry them on. I'm asking about them right now. Well, I don't know shit about the Romans anyway. Alright. That's a lot to think about. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, Peter. At least someone wants to listen to me. I'm tired. Talking so much has made my jaw ache. I'll leave you to rest then. God bless you, Peter. Oh, Magdalene, how are the hinges on your doors? Excuse me? The door hinges at home. Are they in good working order? To be honest, I've never really checked. I'm more worried about taking care of the press than looking at door hinges. Right. Maybe Indra should take a look at them. I would have asked your father, but, well... Anyway, you wouldn't believe how many people are in this town leave their hinges to rust. Really, Jorg, if you want an excuse to snoop in people's homes, just invite yourself over for supper. That's not... The council is looking after the town. Paul would like to institute a yearly check of all homes in Tassing. What do you think of the idea, Jorg? Well, it's not a bad thing, but I don't see why we would need to make it official. Everyone in Tassing helps each other. As I see it, someone notices a house in disrepair, we all pitch in to fix it. To do anything else would be unchristian. But if Paul wants to see it through, I'm happy to go along with it. Makes me feel useful, you know. Speaking of, I'd better get back to work. Nice chat with you, Magna. See you later, Jorg. Alright, it's charcoal burner and salt mine. Hello, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Rest and I are very worried. Or Rassi. Yes. Alive, and that's what matters. You discover who attacked him? No, whoever there was, they left no sign. A terrible crime. Terrible. May God look after you both. We've had enough tragedy in this town. Fortunately, Dr. Stoltz appears to have found his purpose. I remember him being so sad when I was a girl. Ha! You're still a girl. He was once the picture of arrogance, masked to sadness, I think. I like to talk about how he was destined for better places than this backwater alpine town. How he was meant for the courts of kings. He no longer. He grew up. Did the revolt change him? Changed everyone. But he is the one who saw the bodies. He's not a heartless man, Magdalene. He deserves our compassion. Ah, but I shouldn't gossip. If there's anything you and I can do for you, let us know. I will. Thank you for kindness, Empress. It's nothing. I owe your father more than I can say. Take care, Magdalene. So I guess he found a partner. Good for him. Good day, Mistress Jukrin. I've told you, Smokey. Call me Magdalene. Old habits, I suppose. What brings you my corner of the woods? More gossip? Well, the ancient gossip. I was wondering if you knew anything about the old pagan and Roman mines. The mines? Is this a new interest of yours, Magdalene? I don't see the townsfolk trek out to them there as much anymore. Last I saw, there were two twins making... Last I saw were those two twins making trouble. They knew a way in, but I'll be damned if I ever set foot close to that place. What are you so interested in over there? The mural in Rathaus needs a section about the earliest days of Tassing. The mines are the oldest part of Tassing, and you keep a keen ear. I thought you might have heard something. I don't know about getting down into the mines, but I do know a fair few stories about them and the other Roman ruins around here. The old stories Godfather used to tell me when... My father used to tell me when he was in the burner of Tassing. When he was the burner of Tassing. The one about Mars and Tassia, the nymph. Always my favorite, though I blame that on my youth. Tassia? Like Tassing? Folk named the town after a pagan god. A Roman one at that. I don't mind telling you the tale, Magdalene, but I warn you, it's a bit bawdy. Well, I need something about the Romans to paint on the mural. I'll tell the decent bits of what I remember. I won't have your father hounding me for any coarseness. Alright, what's the story? Well, legend says that Mars was hunting in these woods and spied a fat boar for the taking. He just pulled back his spear when he heard a woman scream in terror. Of course, the creature ran off, and God was angry at the loss of his quarry. So he tramped through the woods to see why the woman was in the forest and not in a local town. Why would a god be hunting in Tassing's forest? How should I know? Maybe he just wanted a brisk walk. Besides, why should anything the gods do make sense? These were the olden days when the spirits and ghosts proud. I need more facts, Spooky, like folk tales. Every tale has a seed of truth in it, Magdalene. How else does it become a story? If you're looking for facts, go find that doctor or the inventor. I'm not a learned man, but I know some things. Stories are one of them. Alright, keep going. So, Mars found the nymph, Tassia, bathing in a spring with a fat, ugly satyr guarding her form, goading her from the shore. Enraged at seeing the Enraged at seeing the trapped nymph, Mars transformed into a wolf and slew the satyr. And in return, well, Tassia bathed the god. Ah, I see. I did warn you, Magdalene. When Mars left the pool, he dripped onto the ground, and it blossomed with flowers and crops. They say that's why this valley is so fertile. We've been growing crops here for generations. People would want a reason for that, even if it was the gods. Whatever the reason, Tassing's been blessed with fertile ground for hundreds of years. So much of what the Romans left behind was destroyed over the years, but I like that we still have these tales. You can never really destroy stories as long as there are people to tell them. Of course, the Romans left a hell of a lot behind, too. The town is more Roman than Bavarian, really. Well, we are a part of the Holy Roman Empire. Ha ha, that we are, not for a lack of trying. Tassing is actually much smaller now than it was in the Romans' day. At least that's what I make of it. The ruins go deep in the forest and all the way to the old mine. Half of Tassing is built on Roman stone. Take a walk around town and you'll start noticing things. We use stone to build their stone. The old temple by Satia's shrine has grown over, but the aqueducts run for miles. Aqueduct runs for miles. Even the abbey used to be an old Roman fort. You can see some of the Roman paved stones under the road if you look hard. We may not be Roman, but this town is. Tassing has been building upon itself for hundreds of years. What a beautiful idea. That's the way of things. Most people don't notice the old stones. Too busy in town to notice what's right in front of their eyes. Maybe I should take a look at the mine to get a better sense of what things were actually like. Haha, nothing will stop you, I see. Well, I won't either. Just keep an eye out for any wolves or satyrs you might see down there, eh? I'll let you know if I see any. Thanks for your help. Good luck, Magdalene. Be safe. Hello, is there something I can do for you? Knives need sharpening? I'm Magdalene Druckerin, a friend of Smokey's. I'd like to think so. I'm Vasklav. I'm a tinkerer. Travel around and help people out with sharpening knives, little things like that. Druckerin, are you a printer's daughter? I am. My father and I are both printers. Do you sample the wares much? As often as I can. Vaslav, don't. You're going to get in trouble again. Trouble from me? No, not you, Mr. Struggren. This one can't help but talk to people about all of the strange things he believes. He reads all sorts of books, talks to odd folks, gets ideas brewing in his head. Now that doesn't bother old Smokey none. Bothers some other people a whole lot. Doesn't bother me any. Well, if it doesn't bother you, and it doesn't bother old Smokey, sounds like there's nothing to worry about. Fine, you get run out of here again, don't blame me. Again? Do I want to know what happened? A long time ago I got into an argument with some people in town. They told Father Thomas. To his credit, he told them to let go, but somehow an inquisitor found out. Anyway, I had to leave for a while. So books, strange ideas. Yes, the host, the Eucharist, the bread, the wine, the body of Christ. The consecrated elements of communion, also called the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion. In Catholicism, the Eucharist refers to the bread and wine after they have been transubstantiated into the body and blood of Christ. Holy Communion? What about it? More and more people are writing about rejecting transubstantiation. The idea that the bread and wine of the Eucharist literally becomes the body and blood of Christ. Here we go. Yes? Well, there are two ways to look at it. The first is then the grounds that Wycliffe and Huss rejected it. Using our eyes and our senses, there is nothing perceptible that changes in the character of the bread and the wine. Must our senses necessarily encompass all of God's miracles for them to be real? No, not at all, but for what reason would God place them outside of the compass of our understanding? As an act of faith, blessed are those who believe but have not seen. But if that's the case, of what importance is the material composition of the host? Even if the bread and wine turn to Christ's body and blood, why is that necessary for spiritual communion? We are bound by flesh, attempting to reunite with the light of God through the Eucharist. The act, the observance, unites our will with that of Christ. He is present in us through the remembrance, not the physical act. So what does that matter? Are you saying we shouldn't take communion? No, there's nothing wrong with taking communion as a rite or act. But if you accept what I'm saying, there are other things that I'd like to discuss. I'm not listening to any of this. Are you ready to hear why it's important to disbelieve in transubstantiation? Yes, I'm certain this is leading somewhere good. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic, but alright. This all starts with Lucifer creating the world. Excuse me? God was the Word, and the Word was truth, and truth is light. The light is God's will. God's light contained aspects, what we consider angels, facts of his infinite intellect. One of those aspects has separated itself from his intellect and manifested in the darkness of the corrupt will, Lucifer. But by what power could a portion of God's will separate from the whole? The will moved itself. God's intellect, being infinite, also contained the capacity to transcend the infinite, to exist outside of the boundaries of the infinite light, and corrupt will brought into the being of equally infinite darkness. Within that darkness, Lucifer cast his false light and corrupted imitation of the divine intellect to create the world. All material in our world is inherently a corrupted manifestation of that false light. We still have a connection to God through our intellect, but it's flawed by existing in our physical bodies. But you still believe we can be redeemed through Christ, right? Well, of course. Finally, some sense. But not in the way that you think. Of course not. The way to be redeemed is to reunite our will with God's. How do we do that? Regular prayer, abstention from material desires, sublimation and elimination of want. That just sounds like being a monk. No. Priests and monks both are corrupt agents of the business of the church. They haven't taken the simplicity of holy devotion and profaned it with pageantry. They have taken them. The saints, too. All this talk of mortis and satia and miracles, they're just stories. The church has led people astray, put the hope of people in meaningless rituals, faith in relics. You have some interesting ideas, Václav. I'm glad you think so. I've spent a lifetime thinking about them. Anyway, thank you for indulging me, Magdalene. It was illuminating. Until later. Till then. Hey, Magdalene. Hey, Apollo. What are you doing? Looking for frogs. Artemis says she saw one the other day, and we're trying to collect a bunch. Frogs don't come out this time of year. How do you know? Artemis said she saw one. They don't. Hildegard says they're cold and wet creatures. They won't be out in this autumn. Huh. Maybe that's why I only have one. What do you need the frogs for? Like I'll tell you. You'll snitch. I won't. Yeah, right. Sorry, Mags. I'm not telling. We'll just have to wait and see. Or ask Artemis. Maybe she'll tell you. Fine. I'll go talk to your sister. Be careful. You've already had to go to confession this year. Oh, we know. Is that Artemis? Saint Stadia's shrine. Martha especially likes to leave offerings for her. Hey, Magnaline. Hey, Artemis, Apollo says you're catching frogs. Yeah, what about it? He told me to come ask you why. He wouldn't say anything. He didn't tell you? God, finally, he's learning to keep his mouth shut. Oh, come on, just tell me. No way, this is our biggest trick yet. We're not risking it to tell you. You'll just have to wait and see. A trick, eh? Those rascally kids. A pig? Out here? Must have broke out in its pen. Wonder who it belongs to. If I want to depict the mural as accurately as possible, I'll have to go down the shaft myself. The entrance is steep. No one used it in years. There must be some way to get down there. If I rigged a rope to the top beams, I'd be able to get down more easily. I'll ask Apollo and Artemis. Oh, hey, Magnaline, what's up? Can you show me how you and Artemis get into the salt mine? The mine? Why? It's all ghosts and creepy. Gross and creepy. I need to get down there and see what the pagans and Romans left behind. I need references for my mural. Oh, the mural? I would ask Artemis about that. She's pretty protective of the mine. Alright, I'll go find her. Sorry, Magnaline. If she says yes, I'll show you later. I'll see you later then, Apollo. See you, Magnaline. Oh, hey, Magnaline. Do you need something? I'm a little busy right now. I need you to show me how you and Apollo get in and out of the old salt mine. The mine? Damn, Magna, why do you need to go down there? I want to see what our forefathers and the Romans left behind. It's for the mural. The mural? You want to use our secret hideout for your mural? Your secret hideout? But everybody knows you two hide down there. Yeah, but they don't know how to climb down there, do they? It's secret enough. So why should I show you how to get in? Because we're friends? You told my mother when I cut my hair so I didn't have to wear braids 5 years ago. I still hold that grudge. Look, I'll show you how to get into the mine on one condition. You help Apollo and me with our next prank. No telling, no snitching, no questions asked. Fine, tell me what you're up to. Father Thomas has been droning on and on about the plagues of Egypt, right? Apollo and I are collecting frogs to hide in the tabernacle. When Father Thomas opens it on Sunday, frogs will go everywhere. The holy host locked in the secure box. Haha, I can't wait to see Father Thomas's face if you can get away with it. He'll never expect to summon frogs in his sermon on Egypt's plague. That's the perfect plan. So, what do you want me to do? We stole the tabernacle key, but we need to put it back before he notices. You want me to put the key back? Precisely. Look, we stole the key early to make sure it was the right one. We'll steal it again once we actually stuff the frogs in there, but in the meantime, it needs to go back. I need you to replace the key on the altar in the church. Apollo and I would attract too much attention, but you're the town's goody-goody. I'm not that bad, am I? Well, not entirely. It's not your fault all its moons over you. The council lets you get away with anything. Anyway, will you do it? We'll get you into the mine if you do. I need a way to get into the mine, but this seems risky. The Quinns are always causing trouble, but this prank seems harmless. Father Thomas will be missing his key, too. Going along with this can't cause this much trouble. Can't cause that much trouble, can it? Alright, give me the key. Perfect. Good luck, Magdalene. Let me know when it's done. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I was hoping to be able to finish, but guess there's more of this game to go. So we'll see where this is all going next time, and maybe we'll finish it. I don't know. We'll at least get started on the mural, probably. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed and having a great weekend, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.